Well, okay, let's talk about Saquon Barkley. You might be saying, hold up, Saquon Barkley basically didn't even play in this game, right? Was completely taken out of it by the Chiefs. You look at his overall numbers, he wasn't even the leading rusher in this game for the Eagles. That was Jalen Hurts. He had still 25 carries, so they gave him the ball a good amount, but he had just 2.3 yards per carry. However, a lot of people have speculated, was that actually a bad thing for the Kansas City Chiefs? The fact that they put so much resources into stopping Saquon Barkley, did that end up hurting them more than it helped them because it left them open down the field? Well, let's talk about it. Starting off with a play like this. So one thing worth noting is that the Chiefs did not every play go out all out to stop Saquon Barkley. On this play, you see there's two safeties deep, despite it being a 1st down and 10 where there could be a rush. However, on this play, the Eagles run it, and the Chiefs are still able to stop it. It was one of those safeties, crashed in after he saw a handoff, was able to make the play. So I actually think that's a point in the favor of the argument of maybe you should just play two safeties deep a ton in this game, trust that you can still stop the run enough, and put more resources down the field. Because once they got into these situations, they just really, really struggled. The Kansas City Chiefs on this play are going to be, it's a 4th down and 2. What do? They're going to blitz here. This is going to be a man blitz. So you have 5 players, and essentially they're aware of the fact that it could be a running play as well. 4th down and 2. The Eagles will run sometimes on these situations. But with the 5-man rush, this essentially means that you have 5 defensive linemen for 5 offensive linemen, and if Saquon Barkley takes the ball, then Nick Bolton can run and try and tackle him. So you have a chance in the running game. However, that's what the Eagles are going to do, because of course that's what the Eagles are going to do, right? If you play man coverage and have a single safety deep, well, then you have to have someone who can cover A.J. Brown. I think early on, the Chiefs kind of felt like, well, we have Trent McDuffie, who's a great corner. We have a chance here, but it's just A.J. Brown wins no matter who he's going up against in these situations. As you see, that's what's going to ultimately end up happening. Now, they call a controversial offensive pass interference on this one, so it didn't end up standing. But still, this is kind of, I think, to the argument of maybe just have 2 safeties deep on this play and trust that if it is a handoff, you can still make it happen and make a stop. Or at the very least, you want to double A.J. Brown, right? So you could maybe say, well, do you just put one extra guy over A.J. Brown? However, going over here, the issue is that, you have other guys you have to worry about, including Devonta Smith. So this is going to be a one-on-one matchup on the outside for Smith. This is actually zone coverage, and worth mentioning game situation here as well. So they're going all out to stop the run. I kind of get why, because the Chiefs just failed a 4th down conversion. They're down 27-0. You see that when the Eagles run this play action, I mean, look at how convinced the Chiefs were on this play. This was going to be a handoff. Again, this one's a little bit different than your average play, but still, it does kind of go to show how much focus the Chiefs were putting into stopping the run in a situation like this. Instead, Hurts has a one-on-one matchup, and this was just a pure one-on-one matchup with him and Jalen Watson, who had a really good season. But one thing I talked about in one of my previews was he didn't really have to go up against a ton of great number 2 receivers. For whatever reason, every time the Chiefs played a team with multiple good receivers, one of them was injured. That's just kind of how it worked out. So he didn't have to do this a ton, and he was struggling out there. Like, this one's another one where it's going to be actually not going up against Devonta Smith or Dallas Goedert. This time he is going up against Jahan Dotson. So this is a situation that you expect him to be able to win, right? This is a favorable matchup. It is worth mentioning the Chiefs are showing 2 safeties deep on this play, but one of them is going to pick up Devonta Smith, actually. So it's only going to be a 1 safety deep coverage. So again, 2nd down and 11, they're still putting resources into blitzing on this one, which is different than stopping the run, but still, right? Watch how on this play, you see that they blitz trying to rush the passer, but it's picked up, and again, the reality is Watson just needed to win in these situations is what it comes down to. This is one of those things where I feel like we're always hypercritical of coaching, but like very forgiving when it comes to players. At the end of the day, if the secondary won like it was able to do throughout the course of the season, we're not having this discussion. Also, heading over here, so one thing worth noting as well, so this time, what are the Chiefs going to do? Well, they stop the run on 1st down. There's 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the half. They feel okay about a passing play that's going to happen, and that is what's going to happen. It's going to be, a passing play. You see the concept on the screen. The Chiefs are in a cover 2 zone, which is a really good coverage against the passing, right? I mean, you have two safeties deep. You're taking away anything deep. If they try a go route, it's going to be with a safety in the area. So instead, what the Eagles do is they have the go route where if it is a one-on-one matchup, Hurts will throw there, but they also have Goddard running a route getting towards the sideline. And when Hurts takes the snap, the go route clears out the area, so Goddard is able to make the grab, and they pick up a easy 8 yards or so. The reality is, the Eagles kind of beat everything, right? I mean, even when the Chiefs were trying their best to defend the pass, the Eagles were still beating it. So what do we make of all of this? Now, I would say the one coverage we didn't really see much at all of was cover 2-man, which usually I wouldn't bring up because that's not a coverage a lot of teams run. The Chiefs are one of those teams that will run cover 2-man, though. So I think that's the one thing you look at. Should you have played a lot more cover 2-man, which would have kind of protected you from downfield passing against A.J. Brown and also would have protected you from your depth corners not really working well? Possibly that does really leave you open in the running game, which maybe you can still trust trust that to work, but also Hurts could then run as well. So it's difficult. I actually think maybe the other thing I would bring up is it's weird how they kind of just kept McDuffie on A.J. Brown in this game. Like, I thought they should have probably made an adjustment that way, do the old Bill Belichick move of put your number one corner on their number 2 receiver and then double team the number 1 receiver. That might have been a move. I think that's probably something they could have tried. But again, to bring it back to this overall discussion, did the Kansas City Chiefs put too much of an emphasis on stopping the run? I mean, again, it's so difficult. I think probably. I think they probably did. I don't think that if they didn't do that, I don't think that's the reason they lost. When you lose by this much, it's never going to be one reason. But I think that they probably did. I think it would have been better in hindsight to help out your secondary more because for the Kansas City Chiefs, this was the first time probably in several years that they were losing the battle on the outside. Their corners have been so good year in and year out, and all season long, their corners have been really good. This was the first time, like, they just down the board were losing their matchups. Like, it wasn't just like they had one weakness. It was consistently having weaknesses. So you got to put resources into the secondary to help you out there. But usually that's not what they do. Usually they trust their corners, put a lot of stress on them, and blitz and then stop the run well. Here, I think that they maybe didn't make those adjustments until it was too late. Again, I understood why they wanted to make such an effort to stop Saquon Barkley. Again, let's keep in mind, Saquon Barkley had higher odds to win Super Bowl MVP heading into this game than Jalen Hurts did. That never happens. The quarterback always wins Super Bowl MVP. In this game, Saquon had higher odds coming in, but Hurts wins it because they made an effort to stop Saquon. So at the end of the day, you can go several ways. You could say, yes, they should have. That's probably where I lean. You could also say, hey, at the end of the day, the corners have to cover better. And I think the conclusion we'll all come to is, well, maybe they could have done something different. They're probably going to have a tough time regardless in this one because the Eagles are really good. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.